Number 10.
That's sorted. Anything else?
Warning. The current temperature of Earth is approaching 100 million degrees Celsius.
Oh, great.
The Entropy Center looks to be a fun first-person puzzle adventure that invokes the likes of Portal and its many admirers. There is much to look forward to when this game eventually releases, with its fresh take on the puzzle gameplay formula, utilizing time as the main puzzle mechanic. While there may be some concerns around trying to emulate everything that made Portal great, even down to the witty AI character that the player interacts with, the story that is being presented seems interesting enough to pique our attention, and we hope that it can deliver an intriguing answer to all the mysteries afoot, while still saving some surprises for the player. The Entropy Center has a planned release date of 2022, so keep your eyes peeled on their Steam store page. Number 9.
Amicia, come!
Hugo, I'm right behind you!
Glad did I live, and gladly die. And I laid me down.
The highly anticipated sequel to the 2019 surprise hit, A Plague Tale: Innocence, will be arriving later this year on the 18th of October 2022. Requiem is deemed to take the franchise further and add plenty of new mechanics and systems that will challenge the player in new ways. Now armed with a crossbow, the main character Amicia and her younger brother Hugo will return on their adventures looking for a cure for Hugo's condition. As with the first game, one of the main draws of A Plague Tale is its swarm tech for the rats and their hordes that will destroy and kill anything in its path, moving through the environment like a tidal wave of violence and despair. So if you have a fear of the four-legged rodents, this might be a title you'd play with a significant other or in a room with the lights on. Luckily, we all will be able to play this title very soon, and we cannot wait to get our hands on it here at QuackAttack Gaming. Number 8. As silly as the title may be for Agent 64 Spies Never Die, this is certainly not a game you should overlook or think of as Steam store junk. Agent 64 is a fantastic homage to the rare-made Nintendo 64 games of GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, and is doing a fantastic job at recapturing the essence of what made those games special. At first glance you may think the throwback only goes as far as visual fidelity, but Agent 64 is much more than that, I can assure you. Much like the titles they are emulating, the gunplay is very arcade-like with varying levels of difficulty and new objectives. You will not find ADS sights in this game. I personally cannot wait to get my hands on this game, and it will be launching sometime hopefully this year on Steam Early Access. Please do not let this game pass you by, especially if you're a fan of those older titles. Number 7.
The Forge's fire has long gone cold. Under the mountain of Durin's folk.
One can't help but be excited for a survival game set around the development of the ancient dwarven realm of the Durin folk, most famed of all dwarven realms. Whilst being a survival game, one can expect the usual traits of these types of titles with crafting loot and gathering resources. But one cannot help but imagine what sorts of mysteries will be hidden throughout Moria whilst creating your own dwarven paradise amongst the rocks. If Return to Moria can capture what made a game like Valheim a smash hit while living within the world of Tolkien's work, then this game could truly amount to something special. Unfortunately, for now we will just have to wait and see. The Lord of the Rings Return to Moria is slated to release on Epic Games Store in 2023. Number 6.
You're alone in the realms, I'm afraid. The portals are a mess. Not even sure if Nightingale made it.
Nightingale is another survival game being put on this list. That does not mean, however, that it does not have its own unique style and gameplay elements. This survival title uses the idea of creating realms via a sort of deck building like card system, where mixing and matching different cards will spawn different realms. This survival game really bolsters the idea of exploration with a large and hopefully dynamic world that will change on a whim, where no two players' games will be the same. Nightingale is being headed up by many industry veterans who have worked on previous large AAA developments, which gives us hope. Nightingale is slated to release sometime near the end of this year on Steam Early Access.
If these shadows have offended, think but this.
Number 5.
He wants to finish what he started. He wants to reclaim his birthright and rule over the planet with Genova at his side.
There is not much more to say about Final Fantasy Rebirth other than it is the second part out of a 3-part modern remake of the classic PlayStation 1 game. Coming off the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake tells us that Rebirth will not be a literal carbon copy and that players should expect some twists and turns. This is a hotly anticipated game of ours at QuackAttack Gaming and can only insist that you play the first remake if you get the chance. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is slated to release in 2023 on PlayStation 5.
Feel like I failed you.
Number 4. Metal Hellsinger definitely brightens the sparks in our eyes and deafens the drums in our ears here at QuackAttack Gaming, especially the rodent who is a fond lover of metal music in general. This is a rhythm-based first-person shooter. In other words, imagine the demon slaying of Doom mixed with the rhythm timing of Guitar Hero, all being done to an amazing soundtrack from many heavy metal artists. This game feels like someone reached into the dreams of the rodent of QuackAttack Gaming and pulled out an epic and awesome idea for a game. With collaborations from the likes of Serge Tankian and many others, this game will definitely keep metal fans out there entertained. We are certain that Metal Hellsinger will be a group favorite here at QuackAttack Gaming, and we cannot wait to get our hands on the final product on the 15th of September. Number 3. Capcom have been on an upwards fiery streak for quite some years now since the release of Resident Evil 7 and their use of their RE engine. It is safe to say that Resident Evil 4 Remake will continue that trend. This remake is looking absolutely gorgeous as well as incredibly faithful to the original title. Resident Evil 4 was a groundbreaking game upon release and will be held by many to scrutiny, but it feels like Capcom are fully aware of this with how they have handled their previous remakes. We are very excited to see how a modern control scheme translates into an already fantastic game, what changes could come in both gameplay and level design to account for it, as well as which areas may be changed or cut. While Resident Evil 4 is an absolute classic game, it is hardly perfect and definitely had areas worth criticizing. This remake will give Capcom the chance to fix and change this. At QuackAttack Gaming, we are very fond of our horror games, and Resident Evil 4 Remake releasing early next year on the 24th of March is an awesome treat, and Capcom continues to deliver.
It has to.
Number 2. Witchfire is a first-person shooter being created by a team behind games like Bulletstorm and Painkiller. If that is not enough to raise your eyebrows, then I'm not sure what is. The gameplay is looking fast and frenetic, much like you would expect from the pedigree of those developing it. Gunplay looks tight and tense while movement looks nice and nimble. We are very fond of classic arcade style shooters at QuackAttack Gaming, as you may have noticed by now, and Witchfire is looking to be the best of the bunch. With an interesting visual theme and great art style to boot, Witchfire will catch the eye of anyone who glimpses at the screen, with gothic horror medieval tones and its religious crusader knights imagery. Witchfire seems to be bringing a lot more than fast shooting to the table, and we can't wait to get our hands on it ourselves and see what it is all about. Unfortunately, this is a genre which has come back into mainstream circles with titles such as the reinvigorated Doom games and smaller games like Devil Daggers. Witchfire does have a lot of competition. However, we feel like this game is living up to its promises while delivering what looks like a great shooter akin to the games mentioned earlier. Witchfire is planned to release in Q4 of 2022, and we can't wait. Number 1.
Take a look outside. Did you know that they call Callisto the dead moon? Dead. Just like you would have been if I hadn't fished you out of that wreck.
Being helmed by the great Glenn Schofield, who created the original Dead Space, the Callisto protocol has a lot of promise in providing a standout, one-of-a-kind horror experience. Although you can definitely draw comparisons between it and Dead Space, it is definitely its own game and its own unique world. Most importantly, however, it seems to be absolutely delivering on its promise to be a terrifying and gruesome experience. With some of the most spectacular and horrific designs and brutality we have seen to date in a horror game, the Callisto Protocol looks like it's going to push the bar in many ways. This is what you get when you finally let a creative have their way and their own team to develop a game they truly want to. We at QuackAttack Gaming are extremely happy that Mr. Schofield gets to create this, and we absolutely can't wait to shit ourselves when this game finally releases on December 11th this year. Oh, and also, thank God this isn't in any weird connected PUBG universe and gets to live on as its own thing. Again, creators' intent is always more important than corporate intervention. Oh hey there, you just caught me pondering this little plushy Yoshi. But seriously, now that I've got your attention, don't forget to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe. Yoshi says, like and subscribe.